Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be taking a look at the TwoNav Roc. It is a multi-activity device. TwoNav is a Spanish company. I've been kindly lent it by gpstraining.co.uk. Check them out. They sell various devices for walking, hiking, etc. I've been using the device for about 2 to 3 weeks now. I've done several trail runs and several bike rides, despite it being December here in the UK. In the box you'll get a handlebar, quarter turn mount, out front mount, and this particular model of the TwoNav range comes with its own charge cable, which you simply magnetize to the back, and that's it. Charge it up and it should last for 16 to 18 hours. I've been getting 14 to 16 hours out of it that's hooked up to power meter and cadence sensors. The quarter turn mount on the back is a TwoNav specific one, so you can't just use it with any old Garmin one, unfortunately. I think they've missed a trick here. Yes, it might cost them something to use the Garmin mount system, but most people have that already, so it's a bit of a shame that. The Roc has 6 physical buttons, 2 on that side, 2 on the bottom, 2 on that side. These 2 zoom in and out on the map. That's your power button. That's your back button, and then you've got navigate through the pages. So to power it up, press the button. Usually takes about 40 seconds to power up. So once you've turned it on, it'll default to the map page. If you click at the top, you can change the different profiles. There's lots more you can add in here, and you can start and stop activities in here as well. I've got the auto brightness on, that seems fine. The screen is very good, it's very bright. You could set it even lower if you like, and that's where your battery, and you can connect all your sensors. It doesn't do the Garmin Varia light, which is a bit of a shame, but it does do power meters, heart rate, and so on. It's trying to find the GPS, it connects to Wi-Fi, you can use the cloud storage, and there's some emergency settings as well. So here we are on road bike profile. This particular model comes with the TomTom maps, so you can zoom out. As you can see, it's very quick, very responsive. I can move around, there's no lag, and when I want to go back to where I was, it does so. You can also zoom in with these buttons on the screen, so you can do that. So road bike, you can have TomTom. You can change that to a different setting, a different base map. It's got lots of different ones on it. I'll show you the difference in a second. So if we go to gravel and we come out, we are on the OS map. So these are all pre-installed on the device. So you've got the OS maps, so you could use that to navigate. They're great for walking. And mountain biking such. So that's that. We'll go back to where we were, which is really nice action. Oops. As you can see, there's lots of different buttons to do different things. If we change that to mountain biking, you'll see again, we're in the OS map. So different maps for different activities, or if you wanted to set the cycling ones all the same, and you could have them all the same, that's all in the settings, of which there are a lot to go at, as you'll see. So we'll go down to maps. So we've got Topo, which is OS maps. We've got OSM. There's France on there. There's GB. There's loads. So if you wanted to just go for a bike ride or walk and you didn't have a route in mind, you just want to go wherever you like, you just click Start, Free Activity, and off you go. Now the default things on here, the you can change those in the settings. I'd prefer to see duration down here on this particular page. And at this point, it's still touchscreen, as you can see. It's really nice to use. You can go back to the start. But to actually change to the data pages, you have to use the buttons here at the bottom. Once you're onto there, you can then use these buttons if you wanted to change pages. There's quite a lot of customization available on these. You can change all of these on the device itself. Unfortunately, there is a phone app, but you can't actually change the data pages on there, which would make it a little easier because on this particular device, it's quite small. It's a bit fiddly. There's some quirks like mean speed is average speed, and yeah, some of these default ones aren't particularly great. I think you'd have to go in and change them yourself and change that, so you can make it how you want it. And get back to the map page, you can close that down. So if you started a ride and you wanted to add a route to it halfway through, or you can click on these three little buttons in the bottom, and if you scroll down very carefully, you can change destination and follow a route. And if you've got any saved on there, you can load it up and off you go. Now with this particular device, it'll accept GPX files, and you'll get this by default. Go back to the beginning. See, because I've come out, it's gone red. A minute ago it was blue. There's some real quirks that aren't as easy to follow if you follow what I mean. If we go back to there, oh, that one. Change that again to that one, and you'll see the difference. So this is a TCX file that I did on, that's just telling me I'm off route. This is a TCX file from Ride with GPS, and you can see it's already put the little waymarks in, so this will notify you when there is a turn or a left to right, roundabout, etc. If we click go, so that it's there's a lot going on there, but when you zoom in, we'll now be able to see our route is the blue arrows with a sort of white inner. I didn't particularly like this. This is the default I'm showing you. You can change this, which is again handy to do because for some that might not be the easiest to see. I changed it to purple with some black just to make it a bit easier to see, because otherwise it looks a bit like a river because it's blue. But as you can see, all the little turns are in there. It's going to do this a lot, and as you go along you'll see there's little points where it'll tell you to turn left and right. Once you're done with your route, when you've ridden round or you want to stop the activity, you can click at the top in that top sort of long bar, and it says it's recording. You can click there and you can click stop, and then you've saved it. Once that's connected with your phone or Wi-Fi, it will automatically upload it to your Strava or whichever sort of service that you use. So yeah, as I say, you can customize it quite a lot. So if you click on the bottom side and go to settings, activity profiles, so I'm on the road biking one, you can then go data pages, and at this point you can go, right, I don't want that, I'd prefer to have something else. I personally like duration if I can find it, or time of day even, so you know what time it is. And you can then, there's several more pages here to go at. You can add them, delete them. Again, you can only do this on here on the device, so with a slightly smaller screen it's a little bit trickier, but there's lots of folders with lots of different options in there. So you can see you can add your sensors, so you can do heart rate, cadence, power, everything. That's all in that folder. And once you're done, you just click OK. You can do some auto routing, so this will, if you click a pin and drop a pin, you can have it navigate, and you can choose whether it's the shortest route, or you use highways or unpaved roads and ferries, and that will navigate you to the pin using some of those as sort of how-tos. You've got the maps. You can change, so in here, as I said, the road bike one is the default is TomTom. You can click in there and you can choose the OSM one, so we'll try that. Come back out, all the way out, and we will change the profile quickly and come back again. And back in. Get there, that will be the OS. And then click at the top again. And hopefully that's now changed. As you can see, the road bike one has changed to the OSM road maps, which I found to be better than the TomTom, to be honest. There was a lot more detail, a bit more colour, and the tracks looked a bit clearer. For instance, like that, it just looks, you can tell that's a different track there, whereas on the other one it doesn't look as good. So that's easy enough to do. The other setting that I've had to adjust to being a cyclist was the waypoints, and you can change the distance. This is where it gets a little bit remembering where things are. There's so many menus. It's under here somewhere, there, waypoints view. So if you change the radius, so it's currently set at 50 meters, which means I found I was almost on top of the turn before the notification came up. So I changed it to about 100 meters. And now if you're using a TCX file with a route and it goes turn left, it will come up about 100 meters away, which give you long enough to look at it and then find and make sure you know where you're going, basically. The actual turn notifications only come up on the map page. If you were on this page, it would just beep, so you'd then have to go back to the map page to see whether it's left or right. Again, most cycling computers, if you're on a different data page, it will put a bar across the top or something saying turn left, or it automatically takes you back to the map page for the turn, and then once the turn is finished, it will then take you back to that page. But this device doesn't do that. You've got to do it yourself, which I find a little frustrating. So most of the time, if I'm following a route, I was just leaving it on this map page and just letting it beep at me, and I could see it was going left, it was going right. You can use the power button to just turn the screen on and off if you want to save a bit of battery life. Again, if you're following a route, it will beep, but it won't reactivate the screen. It just beeps at you to tell you that there's something about to happen. So you then have to power it back on to have a look at the screen to see where you were going and what to do. Other things I've noticed while using the TwoNav is inside it struggles to initially find a GPS signal. Once you get outside, it is a lot quicker. It still takes 2 or 3 minutes at least, which is slower than some of the bike computers out there now. As you can see, it's just changed, and that is because we're in night mode now, because it thinks it's 10 to 5. So it's changed some of the screen to black, so it's easier to see at night. You can turn this off. So if you enter settings and then system, display and brightness at night, you can turn that off, or you can have it with tunnels. So if you put it back to turning it off, you can will always stay as it was, white, rather than with the black. So you can change that in the settings, it's quite easy. This is just trying to navigate to a pin. But yeah, as you can see, it is now struggling to find me because I'm still indoors, but I haven't been outdoors. There we go. So yeah, sometimes it's just a bit slow. Yeah. Another thing in the settings I do like is, if I can find it, settings, system, no, not that one, units and measurements. A lot of devices won't let you customize these. So in the UK we like miles. I do like meters for my altitude rather than feet, believe it or not. Speed, I like miles per hour. Distances, short distances are meters. You can change other things as well. And there's no temperature sensor on it, which is a bit of a shame. A lot of cycling computers do. This is obviously a multidiscipline device, and walking, hiking and running and canoeing and whatever else, maybe they're not as concerned about the weather and temperatures as cyclists, but it seems a shame, but it is what it is. It doesn't have it. So if you come back out now and go back into our page, if we press start now, you'll see free activity. It's now in miles an hour and meters. So yeah, that's nice to be able to do that. Overall, I think it's a good device. It does do what you want it to do. There are a few quirks, like I say. It's the GPX file is just you just follow it, and unfortunately, it doesn't create turn-by-turn notifications like the TCX file. But that's a workaround. You just have to use Ride with GPS to create that. If you go off route, it will tell you are off route, but it doesn't take you back with a plotted. It doesn't automatically reroute you back to your route like most other cycling computers do. Again, it's not a deal breaker. It's just something you're aware of beforehand. And like I said, there's lots of maps already pre-installed. You can also buy some extra ones for different countries, different maps. So it's got a good usage for, if you're going traveling, you can use it for walking, and then you can jump on your bike, and it's got the right maps for both disciplines. Again, most cycling computers only have certain maps that are good enough for cycling, but might not show all the minor little paths that you would need for hiking in the mountains in the Alps or something like that. So there are compromises, like with anything. I mean, the screen is great. It's very bright and very good for moving around and seeing what's on there. And like I said, that is a really good highlight to it.